That's it, I think I do it each year. I know what I'm doing. Left-hand course again? Yes. And we're going to do the same tomorrow. Will it be left-hand again? All right. Okay. If you want to stand halfway on there, there's a shot where you can stand there. Like, yeah, once the boys then you can just jump out there. Yeah. That'd be good if you want to stay there. Yeah, and then you can get up close and you can see. Yeah, no, I'm fine. You can go anywhere there. Thank you. Now it comes back, I'll find out if I save one. If you're looking further, I think I'll find this sudden strength to jump. Right to go. All good to go, isn't it? We'll just check with Brooke. Yep. That's enough? Yep.
So our first competitor here in the ladies' dash for cash is Julie Duff on Raving About This Hat. She's from Manila in New South Wales. Next in camp is number 2, BJ Thorburn on Nandai Reaction, and number 3, Julie McNaughton on Dream of Acres. So So unfortunately no score there for Julie and Raving About This Hat. In camp now is number 2, BJ Thorburn on Nandai Reaction. BJ's from Gifford West in Victoria. Next in camp is Julie McNaughton on Dream of Acres, and then number 4, Felicity Burton on El Solar Ray.
So number 2 now, BJ Thorburn with Nandai Reaction, out around the first peg. It's a left-hand course, 40 seconds. The ladies, Dash for Cash, and BJ Thorburn, Nandai Reaction, they float around the second peg. This being the ladies, Dash for Cash. Now let's ride with them, can they? No, and it's just going to cut in the bottom side there of the gate.
So a score there for BJ Thorburn of 21. So in camp now, you're looking at number 3, Julie McNaughton on Dream of Acres. Julie's from Tamworth, New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 4, Felicity Burton on El Sol Array. Number 5, Kimberly Salmon on Rustic Metal. And number 6, Bronwyn Upjohn on Telly.
So number 3 now, Julie McNaughton with Dream of Acres. Out around the first peg now, and Dream of Acres and Julie McNaughton. The ladies dash for cash. They do the changeover. She rides around the second peg, trying to pick up this extra point and then go for the big points over there for the gate. Julie McNaughton, Dream of Acres. Pushes him out. Can she get back around now and turn her back around towards the gate? They have a good look at themselves on the big screen as they go by. And that was Julie McNaughton with Dream of Acres.
The score for Julie and Dream of Acres, a 21, a 3 and a 55.5 for horsework for a 79.5. In camp now is number 4, Felicity Burton on El Sol Array. Felicity's from Braimaroo in Queensland. She'll be followed by another Queensland competitor, Kimberly Salmon on Rustic Metal. Number 6, Bronwyn Upjohn on Telly. And number 7, Kenny L. Beaches on Overtime.
Hang on, well, hold it, hold it.
Well, that was Felicity Burton here now with Elsa Ray. And out around the first peg. So El Sol Ray and Felicity Burton around the first peg. And this has got plenty of pace on it as well. Now we start to ride with her. Can we get around the back of the gate? It's looking pretty good. Looks good from here. El Sol Ray, ridden by Felicity Burton.
A score for Felicity and El Sol Ray, a 22, a 4 and a 61.5 for horsework, giving her an 87.5, which puts her in the lead at this stage. In camp now is number 5, Kimberley Salmon on Rustic Medal. Kimberley's from Bow Desert in Queensland. She'll be followed by number 6, Bronwyn Upjohn on Telly, number 7, Kenny L. Beaches on Overtime, number 8, Tash Carlin on Salty Banks, and number 9, Jessie Rowan on Spin Man.
Number 5 now, Kimberley Salmon with Rustic Medal. Out around the first peg. And Rustic Medal, Kimberley Salmon. They do the changeover. They're going to tighten things up around the second peg. And as Rustic Medal says, leave the footwork to me. You just press the buttons and we'll head back out around the back here. They wheel him, head towards the gate. Can they do it? Can they do it? Rustic Medal and Kimberley Salmon. It looks pretty good.
A score for Kimberley and Rustic Medal, a 16.5, a 4 for course and a 63 for horsework, giving her an 83.5. In camp now is number 6, Bronwyn Upjohn on Telly. Bronwyn's from Kilmore in Victoria. She'll be followed by number 7, Kenny L. Beaches on Overtime, number 8, Tash Carlin on Salty Banks, 9, Jessie Rowan on Spin Man, and 10, Kylie Graham on Metallic Moon. Unfortunately, that's a no score for Bron and Telly. Into the camp next is number 7, Kenny L. Beaches on Overtime. Kenny L's from Maffra in Victoria. Following Kenny L is number 8, Tash Carlin on Salty Banks, number 9, Jessie Rowan on Spin Man, number 10, Kylie Graham on Metallic Moon, and number 11, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spinnin' Aces.
So number 7 now, Kenny Eel Beaches with overtime. And gets a very fast one and goes across the main arena.
So a score there for Kenny L of 23. In camp now, number 8, Tash Carlin on Salty Banks. Tash is from Gallagher in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 9, Jessie Rowan on Spin Man, 10, Kylie Graham on Metallic Moon, 11, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces, and 12, Tammy Fox on Divine Spin.
Hello? Hang on, hang on, hang on. Hello?
Yeah, boys. Yep.
So number 8 now, Natasha Carlin with Salty Banks. And we'll go out with a cutout score.
So a 20.5 there for Tash and Salty Banks. In camp now, number 9, Jessie Rowan on Spin Man. Jessie's also from Bow Desert in Queensland. Following Jessie is number 10, Kylie Graham on Metallic Moon. Number 11, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces. 12, Tammy Fox on Divine Spin. 13, Louise Comiskey on Zahara.
Number 9 now, Jessie Rowan with Spin Man. And they make their way around the first peg. He and the ladies dash for cash. The lady rider, the Palomino, and the Pole Hereford. So Jessie Rowan and Spin Man, they'll go out with a cutout score
Of 23. In camp now, number 10, Kylie Graham on Metallic Moon. Kylie's from Taroom in Queensland. She'll be followed by number 11, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces. Number 12, Tammy Fox on Divine Spin. 13, Louise Comiskey on Zahara. And 14, Sarah Cookson on Paradise.
So number 10 now, Kylie Graham with Metallic Moon. They make their way around the first peg and the ladies dash for cash. They do the changeover, looking for another point for course. Comes around, makes it 3 out of 4. Metallic Moon Can she wheel it back around and put it back down between the pegs? That was Kylie Graham with Metallic Moon.
A 22, a 3 and a 57.5 for an 82.5 for Kylie and Metallic Moon. In camp now, number 11, Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces. Alana's from Bombala in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 12, Tammy Fox, Divine Spin, 13, Louise Comiskey on Zahara, 14, Sarah Cookson on Paradise, and 15, Heidi Smith on Spins Gypsy Rose.
So number 11 now, Alana Chamberlain with Smart Spin and Aces. Around the first peg. They place themselves to come around the second. Around the second they do. So they got the crowd support with them as well. Alana Chamberlain looking pretty good. It looks real good. Got the crowd with her as well.
The score for Alana and Smart Spin and Aces, 21, a 4 and a 60.5 for an 85.5. Slipping her into second place. In camp now, you're watching Tammy Fox. Tammy is from Albion Park in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 13, Louise Comiskey.
So Tammy Fox now with Divine Spin. And doing a little bit of zigzagging, but gets around the first peg now, Tammy Fox. Just can't get it back up between the pegs. So we got a cut-out score there only.
Cut-out score of 22 for Tammy and Divine Spin. Into the camp next is number 13, Louise Comiskey on Zahara. Louise is from Capella in Queensland. She'll be followed by number 14, Sarah Cookson on Paradise, 15, Heidi Smith on Spins Gypsy Rose, 16, Maria Roach on Bardu, and 17, Lynn Kelly on Kellyville Mercedes.
Hello?
Number 13 now, Louise Comiskey with Zahara. And got a very fast one as well. Out around the first peg. And they're motoring fairly well. She does the crossover. She gets out around. And Zahara's working overtime. They come around the second peg. 3 out of 4 for the course. You can start to ride with her now. Louise Kaminsky gets out wide now. Can she turn this beast back down between the pegs? It's looking good. It's looking very good. Louise Kaminsky with Zahara.
The score for Louise and Zahara, a 15, a 4 and a 62 for an 81. In camp now, number 14, Sarah Cookson on Paradise. Sarah is one of Willinga's own, the stock horse manager here. She's from Borley Point here in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 15, Heidi Smith on Spins Gypsy Rose, 16, Maria Roach on Bardu, and 17, Lynn Kelly on Kellyville Mercedes.
So number 14 now, Sarah Cookson with Paradise. Out into the big open spaces now.
So a 22 there for Sarah and Paradise. In camp now is number 15, Heidi Smith. Heidi's from Dungowan in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 16, Maria Roach on Bardu, 17, Lynn Kelly on Kellyville Mercedes, 18, Leone Edwards on Little Abbey, and 19, Megan McIntosh on Fitzy.
So number 15 now, Heidi Smith with Spins Gypsy Rose. The ladies dash for cash. As Heidi Smith and Spins Gypsy Rose, they dash around the first peg. They do the changeover. They dash around the second. They get 3 out of 4. Now, can they wheel things back around and get the 4 out of 4?
So a score there for Heidi and Spins Gypsy Rose of 22. In camp now is number 16, Maria Roach from Adelong in New South Wales. She's riding Bardu. She'll be followed by number 17, Lynn Kelly on Kellyville Mercedes.
So number 16 now, Maria Roach with Bardu.
$20.5 for Maria Roach and Bardu. In camp now is number 17, Lynn Kelly from Crookwell in New South Wales. She's riding Kellyville Mercedes. She'll be followed by number 18, Leone Edwards on Little Abbey, 19, Megan McIntosh on Goldie, 20, Susie Dynastis on Lily Roan, and 21, Lara Garlic on Casper's Heirloom.
Number 17 now, Lynn Kelly with Kellyville Mercedes.
So a score for Lynn and Mercedes is 21. In camp now is number 18, Leone Edwards from Stroud in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 19, Megan McIntosh on Goldie, 20, Susie Dynastis on Lily Roan, 21, Lara Garlick on Casper's Heirloom, and 22, Leah Whitehead on Leluca's Kalissa.
A couple of them have a crack at me down the other end of those. Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. Yes, that's right.
Want to bring it back through here, Ian?
Yeah, through the camp.
You want to get that gate?
Coming back in. Needed a friend.
They don't like going out somewhere.
No, they don't. No. Well, especially dark and big atmosphere. So.
Hello.
Oh.
Number 18 now, Leone Edwards with Little Abbey. And out around the first peg they come, Little Abbey and Leone Edwards. They do the crossover. Round the second peg. Changes back. Can they get it and get the extra point up there for the gate? Looking pretty good. And it looks very good. Leone Edwards with Little Abbey.
Score for Leone and Little Abbey, a 20.5, a 4 and a 63 for an 87.5. I think that puts her up to equal first, Jim. So next in camp now is 19, Megan McIntosh on Goldie. She's from Warra in Queensland.
So number 19, Megan McIntosh with Goldie. The Palomino. And the Pole Hereford around the first peg. 2 out of 4 for course. Looking for 3. Megan McIntosh and Goldie.
So a score there for Megan and Goldie, a 21.5. In camp now is number 20, Susie Dynastis from Yarraman in Queensland. She's followed by 21, Lara Garlick on Casper's Heirloom, 22, Leah Whitehead on Leluca's Kalissa, and 23, Vicky Hiscock on My Flurry.
Number 20 now, Susie Dynastis with Lily Roan. And they come around the first peg there nice and tight. They do the changeover and around the second peg. Just as tight now. Can she get this beast back down the back of the gate? Trying for the extra point for course. Looks pretty good. Susie Denastas with Lily Roan.
Score for Susie and Lily Roan, 19.5, a 4 for course and a 59.5 for horsework, giving her an 83. In camp now, number 21, Lara Garlick from Cadell in New South Wales. Lara will be followed by number 22, Leah Whitehead on Leluca's Calissa, 23, Vic Hiscock on My Flurry, and 24, Laura McIntosh on Conmaid.
Lock.
So that's a no score there for Lara Garlick and Casper's Heirloom. In camp now is number 22, Leah Whitehead from Mummel in New South Wales. Leah's riding Leluca's Calissa. She'll be followed by number 23, Vicky Hiscock on My Flurry, number 24, Laura McIntosh on Conmaid, and number 25, Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss.
Leah Whitehead now with Calissa, number 22. Out around the first peg. Leah Whitehead. They got 2 points for the first peg. She just tries to tighten it up a little bit for the second. Just
Score for Leah and Lelucas Kalissa of 15, a 3 and a 51.5 for a 69.5. In camp now is number 23, Vicky Hiscock on My Flurry. Vicky's from Maffra in Victoria. Number 24 at the gate is Laura McIntosh on Con Maid. Number 25, Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss. And 26, Tammy Goff on Duck Power.
Number 23 now, Vicky Hiscock with My Flurry. As they come around the first peg. And My Flurry, Vicky Hiscock, they do the changeover. And going to tighten things up too around the second peg. So My Flurry, Vicky Hiscock, they go to the back of the arena. Can they line things up? It's looking pretty good and it looks very good.
Score for Vicky on My Flurry, a 16, a 4 and a 65 for horsework, total of 85. In camp now, number 24, Laura McIntosh on Con Maid. Laura's from Walker in New South Wales. Laura will be followed by number 25, Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss. 26, Tammy Goff on Duck Power. 27, Lee Rogers on Darley Sweet Chili.
.24 now, Laura McIntosh with Con Maid.
So a 22 only there for Laura and Con Maid. In camp now, number 25, Coco Wills Allen from Coolac in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 26, Tammy Goff on Duck Power. 27, Lee Rogers on Darley Sweet Chili. 28, Abby Kettner on Tangy Cat.
So number 25 now, Coco Wills Allen with Yellow Miss. And around the first peg they come. Do the changeover for the second. Coco Wills Allen, Yellow Miss. Here we go. Got plenty of running to the Pole Hereford steer. Can we do it? Can we do it? She moves up and is looking pretty good. Perfect. There for Coco Wills Allen and Yellow Miss.
We have a new leader, Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss, a 22, a 4 and a 63 for an 89. In camp next, number 26, Tammy Goff on Duck Power. 27, Lee Rogers on Darley Sweet Chili. Tammy is from Sale in Victoria. Tammy's horse wants...
Radio.
So number 26 now, Tammy Goff with Duck Power. Around the first peg. They'll do a quick changeover and tighten it up, and know they're going to split the second peg.
That's a 22 only there for Tammy and Duck Power. In camp now, number 27, Lee Rogers on Darley Sweet Chili. 28, Abby Kettner on Tangy Cat. 29, Ashley Marr on Acres Outlaw. And 30, Chrissy French on Pixie Duck. Lee and Sweet Chili are from Wollumla in New South Wales.
Righto.
Lee Rogers, and gets a very fast one straight across the main arena here at Wallinga Park. Number 28 now, Abby Kettner with Tangy Cat.
Score for 21 only for Abby and Tangy Cat. So in camp now, we have number 29, Ashley Marr on Acres Outlaw from Trawalla in Victoria.
So up to number 29 now, Ashley Marr with Acres Outlaw. And we'll go out with a cutout score
Of 22 for Ashley and Acres Outlaw. In camp now, number 30, Chrissy French from Nimity Bell in New South Wales. Chrissy's riding Carly's horse, Pixie Duck. She'll be followed by 31, Bryony Puddingham on Paris, 32, Kelly Smith on Pink Magic, 33, Lucy Sellers on Asher, and 34, Cindy Ryder on Condamine Revival.
So number 30 now, Chrissy French with Pixie Duck.
A score of 21.5 for Chrissy and Pixie Duck. In camp now, number 31 is Bryony Puddingham on Paris. Bryony's from Nebo in Queensland. She'll be followed by 32, Kelly Smith on Pink Magic, 33, Lucy Sellers on Asher, 34, Cindy Ryder on Condamine Revival, and 35, Colleen Smith on Banara Symphony.
So Kelly Smith now with pink. Number 31, Bridie Prettycombe with Paris. Very unlucky there. Bridie Prettycombe with Paris.
Score of 21.5. In camp now, number 32, Kelly Smith on Pink Magic, followed by 33, Lucy Sellers on Asher, and 34, Cindy Ryder on Condamine Revival. Kelly is from Tumen in New South Wales.
Hello.
Number 32 now, Kelly Smith with Pink Magic. And out around the first peg, Pink Magic, Kelly Smith. They'll come back into the middle between the pegs. They do the changeover. And around the second peg, Pink Magic. 3 out of 4 for the course. Oh, and it's all come undone.
A 19 there for Kelly and Pink Magic. In camp now, number 33 is Lucy Sellers from Bendock in Victoria. Lucy's riding Asher. She'll be followed by 34, Cindy Ryder on Condamine Revival. 35, Colleen Smith on Benara Symphony. 36, Jessica Wickham on Fedora. And 37, Brooklyn Symes on Niagara Jewel.
Number 33 now, Lucy Sellers with Asher. So they got the first peg. 2 points for the first peg, looking for another point for the second. Comes around now, we can ride with her now. Lucy Sellers with Asher. Can she wheel it around and straighten it up between the pegs? It looks pretty good. The ladies dash for cash.
The score for Lucy, a 22, a 4 and a 62 for an 88, slipping her into second place at this stage. Better add that in. So in camp now, number 34 is Cindy Ryder from Diggers Rest. She'll be followed by number 35, Colleen Smith on Benara Symphony. 36, Jessica Wickham on Fedora.
Cindy Ryder now, a Condamine Revival. And she's on track. Lines up the second.
Okay. Score for Cindy and Condamine Revival of 21. Into the camp now, one of our Queensland competitors, 35, Colleen Smith from Tansy in Queensland. She'll be followed by 36, Jessica Wickham on Fedora. 37, Brooklyn Symes on Niagara Jewel. And 38, Natasha Walsh on Cos.
Swim side. Boys, back. Yep. girls that's out there, we might have to bring them all back this way. Yeah, it's always interesting at the end of a round, and there's like no one going there. Shit, we've got one turn back like that. Hello. So I was blocking the gate during the late part of the afternoon.
So number 35 now, Colleen Smith. And out into the big open arena. Around the first peg they come. She'll do the changeovers. She's got 2 points for the first peg. Round the second peg. Colleen Smith, Banara Symphony. And can she get back and wheel things around and bring the beast down between the 2 pegs for the gate? Let's ride with her now. Looks pretty good. It's a perfect Colleen Smith.
Close. A score for Colleen and Symphony, a 21, a 4 and a 63.5 for an 88.5, which I think slips her into second place. In camp now, we have number 36, Jessica Wickham on Fedora. She's from Walker in New South Wales. Jess will be followed by number 37, Brooklyn Symes, and 38, Nat Walsh on Cos.
Number 36 now, Jessica Wickham with Fedora. Out into the main arena and is going to come around, has a good look at the VW Volkswagen sign and is going to skip away there on the second peg.
We have a score now for Jess Wickham on Fedora of 15.5. In the camp now is number 37, Brooklyn Symes on Niagara Jewel. Brooklyn's from Birralee in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 38, Natasha Walsh on Cos, 39, Georgia Bandy on Ella's Destiny. 40 is Amanda Hollis on Adios Florence.
Number 37 now, Brooklyn Signs with Niagara Jewel.
A score of 13.5 for Brooklyn and Niagara Jewel. In camp now, number 38, Nat Walsh from Murray Bateman in New South Wales, riding Cos. She'll be followed by number 39, Georgia Bandy on Morangi's Ella Destiny. 40 is Amanda Hollis on Adios Florence. And 41 is Beck Hayes on Hayes Grazing Archipelago.
Are we doing a cattle change at halfway? So it's this and one more.
Number 38 now, Natasha Walsh with Cos. Oh, and smartly around the first peg. Natasha Walsh does a changeover. Moves around here now on the second peg. Cos. Natasha Walsh. Can they do it? Can they do it? Can they do it? Yes, they can.
A score for Nat and Cos, a 22, a 4 and a 63 for an 89, putting her right up on equal first. So in camp now we have number 39, Georgia Bandy from Tooma in New South Wales. Georgia's riding Morangi's Ella's Destiny. She'll be followed by 40, Amanda Hollis on Adios Florence, 41, Beck Hayes on Hayes Grazing Archipelago, and 42, Nat Weston on Enchanted Acres.
Georgia Bandy now, number 39.
So a 22 only for Georgia and Ella's Destiny. In camp now is number 40, Amanda Hollis from Pyalaway in New South Wales. She's riding Adios Florence. She'll be followed by number 41, Beck Hayes on Hayes Grazing Archipelago. 42, Nat Weston on Enchanted Acres. 43, Chris Hall on Turner's Stud Congo.
Don't let any more cattle in, we'll flush you out after that. Hello?
Number 40 now, Amanda Hollis, Adios Florence. Just trying to shape things around. They make their way around the first peg now. Amanda Hollis. Just gives a bit of a bump and up around the second peg. And not going to work out tonight.
And a score there for Beck and Hayes Grazing Archipelago. Oh, sorry, Amanda on Adios Florence is 22. So now you're watching Beck on Hayes Grazing Archipelago. Bex from Scone in New South Wales. She'll be followed by number 42, Nat Weston on Enchanted Acres, and 43, Chris Hall on Turner's Stud Congo, 44, Lauren Jackson on Dapple Mary, and 45, Shelley Ruff on Sonata.
Number 41 now, Beck Hayes.
Camp score there for Beck and Archipelago is 22. In camp now is number 42, Nat Weston on Enchanted Acres from Holbrook in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 43, Chris Hall on Turner's Stud Congo, 44, Lauren Jackson on Malungara's Dapple Mary, 45, Shelley Ruff on Sonata, and 46, Brooke Dobble on Yalata Park's Expression.
Comes back in, we'll let him in.
He's got a posse.
Yeah, they might get in, they might get in. We'll see. Hello?
Number 42 now, Natalie Weston, Enchanted Acres. And gets herself a very fast one.
Score for Natton Enchanted Acres, 21. In the camp now, number 43, Christine Hall on Turner's Stud Congo. Christine is from Gundawindi in Queensland. Should be followed by 44, Lauren Jackson on Malungara's Dapple Mary. 45, Shelley Ruff on Sonata. 46, Brooke Dobble on Yolata Park's Expression. And 48, Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat.
Hello.
Number 43 now, Christine Hall with Turner Stud Congirl.
Score of 16 there for Christine and Turner's Stud Congirl. In camp now, number 44, Lauren Jackson on Malungara's Dapple Mary. Lauren is from Numurkah in Victoria. She'll be followed by 45, Shelley Ruff on Sonata. 46, Brooke Dobble on Yolata Park's Expression. 48, Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. And 49, Tyler Palmer on Hell's a Comin'.
Leaving the camp to come this way.
So in camp number 44, you're watching Lauren Jackson on Dapple Mary, and at the gate 45, Shelley Ruff on Sonata.
Number 44 now, Lauren Jackson. Out around the first peg we go. With Lauren. They'll do the changeover, try and line things up for the second peg, and she tightens it up there nicely. Lauren Jackson. Dapple Mary. Using a little bit of a push out. So that was Lauren Jackson with Dapple Mary.
Back.
The score of 19 for Lauren Jackson and Dapple Mary. In camp now is a number 45, Shelley Ruff from Diggers Rest in Victoria, riding Sonata. Should be followed by 46, Brooke Dobble on Yolata Parks Expression. 48 is Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. 49, Tyler Palmer on Hell's A-Comin'. And 50, Dallas Whip on Contractor. Unfortunately, that's no score there for Shelley and Sonata. In camp now is Brooke Dobble on Yolata Parks Expression. Brooke is from Illabo, New South Wales. She'll be followed by 48, Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. 49, Tyler Palmer on Hell's A-Comin'. And 50, Dallas Whip on Contractor. So just a reminder to everyone, we've got a sleep in the morning, 7:30 start, on with the semi-final of the Willinga Park Gold Buckle.
Number 46 now, Brooke Dodwell. Out around the first peg we go. Brooke Dodwell it is. Number 46 in the draw in the ladies' dash for cash. So Brooke Dodwell makes away. Can she give time to get there to get the gate? It looks pretty good.
55 and 4.
So in camp now is 48, Kelly Eagles on One Stylish Tat. Kelly is from Royalla in New South Wales. And a score for Brooke is 15.5, a 4 for course and a 57 for horsework, giving her a 76.5. So following number 48 will be 49, Tyler Palmer on Hell's A-Comin', 50, Dallas Whip on Contractor, 51, Christy Davidson on Canipes Ransom, and 52, Karen Darmody on Castida Drover.
So number 48 now, Kelly Eagles with one stylish tap. She'll go with a cutout score in the ladies' dash for cash draft.
Of 15. In the camp now is 49, Tyler Palmer on Hell's a Comin', a Willinga Park horse. Tyler's from Cooler in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 50, Dallas Whip on Contractor, and 51, Christy Davidson on Canipes Ransom.
Pull one out and put two in. Yeah, okay. I don't know. We'll pull the first one out and put two in. Okay? We'll pull one out and put two in. Is that good? We didn't get told. Okay. Good one.
Well, number 49 now, Tyler Palmer with Hell's a Comin'. And they're coming around the first peg. Now, Tyler, she just sits back a little bit, let the beast run on, and she's going to tighten things up around the second peg. And Hell's a Comin' with Tyler Palmer. And she's got the crowd with her as well. Now she turns around, now she bend it back around. They have a look at themselves as they go past the big screen. Can she wind things up? Oh, and splits the gate on the end of the run.
The score for Tyler and Hell's a Comin', 22, a 3 and a 57 for an 82. In camp now, you're watching 50, Dallas Whip on Contractor. Dallas is from Maruya in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 51, Christy Davidson on Canipes Ransom, 52, Karen Darmody on Castida Drover, and 53, Tia Beek on She Be a Cat.
Number 50 now, Dallas Whip. Oh, and just going to sit up and come inside the first peg.
A score of 22 for Dallas and Contractor. In the camp now is Christy Davidson from Young in New South Wales. Christy's riding Canipes Ransom. She'll be followed by 52, Karen Darmody on Castida Drover, 53, Tia Beek on She Be a Cat, and 54, Sandy Bennett on Little Miss.
Number 51 now, Christy Davison with Knipes Ransom. And they float around the first peg. I come back in between the two pegs. I'll do the changeover for the second. Christy Davidson rides now just to turn this beast back. Now goes hard, changeover. Can they get it? Turn her back towards the gate. Looking pretty good. Christy Davidson.
The score for Christy and Canipes Ransom, a 15.5, a 4 and a 62 for horsework for an 81.5. In camp now is number 52, Karen Darmody from Bungadore in New South Wales. Karen's riding Castida Drover. She'll be followed by 53, Tia Beek on She Be a Cat, 54, Sandy Bennett on Lil Miss, and 55, Mark Hind on Nashville Nightman.
Number 52 now, Karen Darmody. And gets a very fast one and cross the arena.
A score of 19 for Karen and Drover. In camp now, number 53, Tia Beek on She Be a Cat. Tia's from Cabra in Queensland. She'll be followed by 54, Sandy Bennett on Lil Miss, 55, Mark Hind on Nashville Nightman, and 56, Mandy Gallagher on More Gold. So we've got about 25 runs left in this ladies' dash for cash. Then we'll have the presentations. And then we'll have the final of the cutout, which will be lots of action for everyone. And then the presentations of that before the working dog challenge. Tia and She Be a Cat, 22. In camp now, number 54, Sandy Bennett from Dundee in New South Wales. She's riding Lil Miss. She'll be followed by 55, Marg Hind on Nashville Nightman. 56, Mandy Gallagher on More Gold. 57, Erica Hanrahan on Grasshopper.
Number 54 now, Sandy Bennett with Little Miss. We'll go with the cutout score in the ladies' dash.
The score of 22 for Sandy and Lil Miss. In camp now, number 55, Marg Hind on Nashville Nightman. Marg is from Woolloomooloo in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 56, Mandy Gallagher on More Gold. 57, Erica Hanrahan on Grasshopper. 58, Rebecca Luxford on Shania.
Number 55 now, Marg Hind with Nashville Nightman. And around the first peg. And just going to come in on the top side.
A score for Marg and Nashville Nightman of 21. In the camp now, number 56 is Mandy Gallagher from Bundarra, New South Wales. She's riding More Gold. She'll be followed by 57, Erica Hanrahan on Grasshopper. 58, Rebecca Luxford on Shania. And 59, Tristan Holtz on Stockhaven Sonnet.
Number 56 now, Mandy Gallagher with More Gold. And around the first peg they come.
Hang on, let's put one in. We'll take one out. Hang on. Rerun. Just try and put the worst grease down.
So Mandy's just been rewarded a rerun. There was a beast on the arena which deemed her run unsafe. No fault of Mandy's. So she's been given a rerun.
Just got rid of the worst one for you, so. Yep, full rerun. Done. Mandy? Mandy? We're going to start you from scratch.
Number 56 now, Mandy Gallagher with more gold.
Score there for Mandy and more gold of 19.5. Next in camp is number 57, Erica Hanrahan on Grasshopper. She's from Cabra in Queensland. She'll be followed by 58, Rebecca Luxford on Shania. 59, Tristan Holtz on Stockhaven Sunnet. And 60, Caroline Jones on Royal Perfection.
What do you mean? I think, yeah. Hey, fellas, one coming. Hello?
Number 57 now, Erica Hanrahan with Grasshopper. Around the first peg they go in the ladies' dash for cash.
So a score there for Erica and Grasshopper of 22. In camp now is number 58, Rebecca Luxford from Kelvin in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 59, Tristan Holtz on Stockhaven Sunnet. 60 is Caroline Jones on Royal Perfection. And 61, Inga Yanks on Mumbulla Manaray.
Number 58 now, Rebecca Luxford with Shania. In the ladies' dash for cash, and they dash around the first peg. We'll do the changeover. Comes down around the second peg. Rebecca with Shania. So we'll leave that one to our judges.
Sorry? Time went before the gate. In. Oh, hang on. In. One coming in.
A score there for Rebecca and Shania, a 16, a 3 and a 56 for a 75. In camp next is number 59, Tristan Holtz from Medella in Victoria. She's riding Stockhaven Sunnet. She'll be followed by number 60, Caroline Jones on Royal Perfection. 61, Inga Jensch on Mumbulla Manaray. 62, Carolyn Maloney on Qantas.
Hello.
So a no score there for Tristan and Stockhaven Sunnet. Next in camp will be number 60, Caroline Jones on Royal Perfection. Caroline is from Old Junee in New South Wales. So following Caroline will be Inga Jensch on Mumbulla Manaray. 62, Carolyn Maloney on Qantas. 63, Amy Jamison on Mr. Bojangles.
Caroline Jones now is number 60 in the dash for cash. She dashes out around the first peg. Quick changeover. Going to be a fairly fast second peg. Caroline Jones.
A 20.5 for Caroline Jones on Royal Perfection. In camp now, number 61 is Inga Jensch. She'll be followed by 62, Carolyn Maloney on Qantas, and 63, Amy Jamison, Mr. Bojangles, and 64, Fee Palmer on Binia Impressive Destiny. Inga's from Wapango Lakes in New South Wales.
Sorry about that, but even though
Hello? It's tough when that happens. It is here now. Just feel really bad. Happened all of it. This afternoon. A little bad.
Unfortunately, that's a no score for Inga and Manaray. Next in camp is number 62, Carolyn Maloney on Qantas. Carolyn is from Westdale in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 63, Amy Jamison on Mr. Bojangles, 64, Fiona Palmer on Binia Impressive Destiny.
Number 62 now, Carolyn Maloney with Qantas. And gets a fairly fast one. Comes down around the first peg. Carolyn Maloney. And has got a fairly fast little pole Hereford steer.
So a score there for Carolyn Maloney on Qantas, a 21, a 3 and a 54.5 for a 78.5. In camp now, number 63, Amy Jamison on Mr. Bojangles. Amy's from Barraba in New South Wales. Following Amy is 64, Fee Palmer on Binia Impressive Destiny, 65, Sarah McDonald on Tap Dancing Queen, 66, Cheryl Jewston on Audrey, and 67, Megan Nankervis on Tullawal Sherry. Yeah, and going.
Blood, you're putting too far in the fence.
So unfortunately, that's a no score for Amy and Mr. Bojangles. In camp now is number 64, Fiona Palmer from Cooler in New South Wales. She's riding Binia Impressive Destiny. Following Fee is number 65, Sarah McDonald on Tap Dancing Queen.
Pull one in, one.
66, Cheryl Jewston on Audrey. 67, Megan Nankervis on Tullawal Sherry. And 68, Yvette Palmer on Tassa's Cover Girl. So the presentations for this Ladies Dash for Cash will be straight after this event, which is only about 13 runs to go. After that, we'll have all the action of the evening, which is the top 10 cutout, and then the presentations, and then the Working Dog Challenge. So at this stage, there's a runoff, unless someone, you remaining ladies, is going to pop out a 90 or better. No pressure.
Number 64 now, Fiona Palmer with Binia Impressive Destiny.
And that's a 14 there for Fee and Binia Impressive Destiny. In the camp now is number 65, Sarah McDonald from Tambourine in Queensland, riding Tap Dancing Queen. She'll be followed by 66, Cheryl Jewston on Audrey. 67, Megan Nankervis on Tullawal Sherry. 68, Yvette Palmer on Tassa's Cover Girl. And 69, Alison Sadler on Relda's Swift Spin.
Number 65 now, Sarah McDonald, Tap Dancing Queen. So they come around the second peg. Tap Dancing Queen, she's tap dancing around the second peg now. Can she keep tap dancing around and get her back up around through the gate? Sarah McDonald, and is going to go down the far side of the gate.
So a score for Sarah and Tap Dancing Queen, a 20.5, a 3 and a 56.5 for an 80. In camp now, number 66, Cheryl Jewston on Audrey. Cheryl's from Nanargoon in Victoria. Should be followed by 67, Megan Nankervis on Tallawal Sherry.
Horse out the yard.
So unfortunately, that's a no score for Cheryl and Audrey. In camp next will be number 67, Megan Nankervis from Cudgewar in Victoria, riding Tallawal Sherry. Should be followed by 68, Yvette Palmer on Tass's Cover Girl, 69, Alison Sadler on Relda's Swift Spin, 70, Hannah Riley on Nashville Whitney. It's about 11 runs to go in this ladies' dash for cash. At this stage, it's a runoff with Coco Wills-Allen on Yellow Miss and Tash Walsh on Cos on 89s. Unless something changes in the next 10 runs, but riders, please be ready in case that happens. Then we will go on with the presentation straight after this event. And then all the action will begin for the feature cutout.
Number 68 now, Yvette. No, number 67, Megan Nankervis it is. And around the second peg they come. Megan Nankervis. Can they bend the beast back? So that was Megan Nankervis with Tallawal Sherry.
So a score there for Megan and Sherry was 22. In the camp now is number 68, Yvette Palmer on Tass's Cowgirl. She's from Tamworth in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 69, Alison Sadler on Relda's Swift Spin, 70, Hannah Riley on Lorena, 71, Emily Thomas on Hazelwood Weapon, and 72, Rebecca Roberts on Duckrageous. So 10 competitors to go in this ladies' dash for cash. And then we'll move on to the feature cutout after the presentations. It's where you're going to see 10 of the top camp horses that are here this weekend competing for that the shootout with the feature cutout. Good to see everyone with their blankets on here to the side of us. Hanging in there, watching it.
Number 68 now, Yvette Palmer with Tass's Cover Girl. Around the first peg, does a quick changeover. Yvette Palmer tightens things right up around the second peg with Tassa's Cover Girl. Now can Yvette keep things going in a forward direction? Down there looking to put the beast between the two pegs. Can they do it? Yvette Palmer.
The score for Yvette and Tassa's Cover Girl is 13.5, a 3 and a 58 for a 74.5. In camp now is number 69, Alison Sadler on Relda's Swift Spin. Alison's from Bunnan in New South Wales. Should be followed by 70, Hannah Riley on Lorena, 71, Emily Thomas on Hazelwood Weapon, and 72, Rebecca Roberts on Duck Rageous.
So number 69 in the draw, Alison Sadler. Relda's a Swift Spin. We'll go with a cutout score in the ladies' dash for cash.
Score of 21 for Alison and Swift Spin. In camp now, number 70 is Hannah Riley on on Lorena from Cooler. Should be followed by 71, Emily Thomas on Hazelwood Weapon, 72, Rebecca Roberts on Duck Rageous, and 73, Mel Welsh on All Stars Famous Acres.
Hello.
Number 70 now, Hannah Riley with Lorena. Out into the open arena. And we'll go out with a cutout score.
Score of 21.5 for Hannah and Whitney. In camp now is Emily Thomas on Hazelwood Weapon. Emily's from Toomer in New South Wales. Following Emily will be number 72, Rebecca Roberts on Duck Rageous, 73, Mel Welsh on All Stars Famous Acres, 74, Michelle Wilson on Rusty.
Number 71 now, Emily Thomas with Hazelwood Weapon. And around the first peg, and very tight one too it is. Emily Thomas around the first one. They do the crossover. They're going to tighten the second one up as well. Emily Thomas and Weapon. Well, they got the Weapon. She just pulls back. Turns that steer now. Can they get around up towards the gate? Going to be interesting here. Emily Thomas. Oh.
Score for Emily and Hazelwood Weapon, a 22, a 3 and a 58.5 for an 83.5. In camp now is number 72, Rebecca Roberts on Duck Rages. Rebecca is from Singleton in New South Wales. She'll be followed by 73, Mel Welsh on All Stars Famous Acres, 74, Michelle Wilson on Rusty, 75, Sophie Parbury on Archie, and 76, Sarah Wellsmore on Mount Q Smoke and Roy. Has to be.
Rebecca Roberts now with Duck Rages, number 72 in the dash for cash. And around the first peg. Things are looking pretty good for Rebecca Roberts and Duck Rages. They do the changeover. Round the second peg. Round they come. Now will they go straight to the gate? She sits off. Puts the bow in. Things are looking good. Rebecca Roberts.
Looking good.
Looking real good. It's looking real good. It looks very, very good.
A score for Rebecca Roberts and Duck Rages, a 16, a 4 and a 62.5 for an 82.5. In camp now, number 73, Mel Welsh from Kerry in Queensland, riding All Stars Famous Acres. 74 at the gate is Michelle Wilson on Rusty, 75 Sophie Parbury on Archie, 76 Sarah Wellsmore on Smoke and Roy, 77 Kate Sullivan on Miss Juicelina, and 78 Kylie Malone on Oakview Isabel as our final competitor tonight. So if there's no runoff, which there is at this stage, we will go straight, let me start that again. We'll have the runoff and then we'll go to the presentations and then we'll go straight on with the action with the feature cutout. Top 10 best camp horses.
Number 73 now, Mel Welsh with All Stars Famous Acres. Tries to line things up around the second peg, Mel Welsh. And All Stars Famous Acres. Going to take a little bit of a shortcut. Can they get it to the gate?
A score for Mel on All Stars Famous Acres is 14.5, a 3 and a 48 for a 65.5. So out on course now, you have Michelle Wilson on Rusty from Turner's Flat in New South Wales.
Number 74 now. Michelle Wilson with Rusty and not going to get it back up between the two pegs.
So in camp now is 75, Sophie Parbury on Archie. Sophie is from Wollumla in New South Wales. A score for Michelle and Rusty of 21. Following Sophie will be number 76, Sarah Wellsmore on Smoke and Roy, 77, Kate Sullivan on Miss Ducelina, 78, Kylie Malone on Oakview Isabel. Kylie's our last competitor for this evening. So in the camp draft, in the ladies dash for cash. So if the two run-off 89s could be prepared, just in case, please. At this stage, you will be having a run-off.
So Sophie Parbury with Archie. They float around the first peg and she'll do a quick changeover. And around the second peg, Sophie Parbury and Rusty. So can Archie do it? And Sophie Parbury, they go around and around. Not tonight.
A score for Sophie and Archie, a 22.5, a 3 for course, a 59 for horsework for an 84.5. In camp next is 76, Sarah Wellsmore on Smoke and Roy. Sarah's from Tumut, New South Wales. She'll be followed by 77, Kate Sullivan on Miss Ducelina, 78, Kylie Malone on Oakview Isabel. So at this stage, could Coco Wills-Allen please on Little Miss, and Tash Walsh on Cos be ready please. It looks like we will be having a run-off. We've got 3 runs to go. Be prepared just in case. Score for Sarah and Smoke and Roy of 18.5. In the camp now, number 77, Kate Sullivan on Miss Ducelina. Kate's from Manila in New South Wales. She'll be followed by Kylie Malone on Oakview Isabel. So we've got 2 runs to go. After this ladies' dash for cash, it will be the presentations.
Number 77 now, Kate Sullivan with Dulcelina. And around the first peg they come. Kate Sullivan does a changeover. Rides pretty hard, comes around the second peg. Can she keep the momentum going? Goes towards the gate. Can she get it? She's putting the pressure on. But it's all come undone.
Score of 22 for Kate and Miss Ducelina. In camp now, we have number 78, Kylie Malone on Oakview Isabel. Kylie's from Tumut in New South Wales.
Kylie Malone now with Oakview Isabel. And around the first peg they come. Nice and tight. We'll do the changeover. Can they make the second peg as tight? Comes around the second peg now. Can they keep the momentum up? Sits off, lets the beast run a little now. Wants to start to ride with him. Let's ride with her now. Things are looking good. Right down the middle. Kylie Malone with Oakview Isabel.
Back, watch your back.
The score for Kylie and Oakview Isabel, a 14.5, a 4 for course and a 63.5 for horsework for an 82. So if we could have Nat Walsh on Cos and Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss, please, both on 89 for a runoff for this Dash for Cash.
Following the runoff and the presentation of the Dash for Cash ladies draft, it'll be straight on to the feature cutout final. And I'll just run through that. Number 1 out, Mark Buttsworth with 1 Stylish Pepto, 2 Josh Barnett Duck Rages, 3 Bill Carey with Tilly, 4 Kylie Graham, 1 more Millo, 5 Hugh Miles with Razor Garter, 6 Tom Williamson, See Me Metallic, 7 Andrew Turvey with Cat and Roses, 8 Robert Leach Butterfly, 9 David Thorne, A Little Turbulence, and 10 Mark Buttsworth with Electric Duck. That's the draw for the final of the feature cutout following the runoff and the presentation of the ladies draft.
Righto, they've flipped a coin and Coco's in first. So Coco's Wills Allen on Yellow Miss is first to Dash for Cash in this ladies event.
Hello? Oh no, hang on, hold it, we're not ready. Sorry. Get out when you're ready. System's not right. Computer's not right yet. Hello? Go. Go.
So this is the runoff that decide the Dash for Cash in the ladies draft. Coco Wills Allen.
Hello?
21.5 for Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss. On top of an 89 is a 110.5. Oh, so you're ready to add the next one up and give it to me as its score, and then I'll add it to the 89. How's that? You just work out the average. Is that possible? Thank you. Thanks. Now we have Natasha Walsh on COS, ready for the second half of this runoff for the ladies' Dash for Cash.
So Natasha Walsh lines up the first peg. This is the runoff to decide the winner of the Dash for Cash. Now she needs to play it pretty safe now.
So close, a 21 there for Natasha Walsh on COS. So the winner is Coco Wills Allen on Yellow Miss with a 110.5. Natasha Walsh in second with a 110. Third place is Colleen Smith on Binara Symphony on an 88.5. Fourth place is Lucy Sellers on Asher with an 88. Fifth is Felicity Burton on El Sol Ray on an 87.5. Oh, sorry, equal fifth with Leone Edwards on Little Abbey with an 87.5.
What do you want for the cutout?
Seventh is Alana Chamberlain on Smart Spin and Aces on an 85.5. Eighth is Vicky Hiscock on My Flurry with an 85. Ninth is Sophie Parbury on an 84.5. And equal 10th is Kimberly Salmon on Rustic Metal and Emily Thomas on Hazelwood Weapon on an 83.5. Congratulations, ladies, to the winner and place getters. If you could meet down there at the front of the camp, and Laura will present you with your ribbons. And now if we all prepare for the feature cutout, you're going to see some of the greatest horses here this weekend in the front of the camp. So the prize money for the feature cutout is approximately $14,000. Winner takes all. So these guys are going to be riding hard, and they want to hear your support from the sidelines.
So first place in the ladies dash for cash. First place to Coco Wills Allen in yellow miss. Second place to Natasha Walsh and Cos. Only a half a point in it in the runoff. So our judges Ian Laurie and Trader Wilson. So second place to Natasha Walsh with Cos. Third place to Colleen Smith, Benara Symphony on 88.5. Fourth place to Lucy Sellers Asher on 88. Equal fifth, Felicity Burton's El Sola Ray and Leone Edwards with Little Abbey, both on 87.5. Seventh place to Alana Chamberlain and Smart Spin and Acres on 85.5. Eighth place to Vicky Hiscock's My Flurry on 85. Ninth place to Sophie Parbury on Archie on 84.5. And equal 10th, Kimberly 7 Rustic Medal and Emily Thomas Hazelwood Weapon, both on 83.5. So they're the winner and place getters of the ladies' dash for cash.
Congratulations, everybody.
Okay, give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And all those people up there in the Volkswagen grandstand, the red blankets, give them a big round of applause. You can start to get warm yourselves up for the next event, the final of the feature cutout. So there they go, the winner and place getters of the ladies' dash for cash. And there's plenty of activity over at the Swamp Bar. So now's the time to get yourself a good posse for the final of the feature cutout. 10 finalists. Number 1 we Mark Buttsworth with 1 Stylish Pepto. 2 Josh Barnett with Duck Rages. 3 Bill Carey with Telly. 4 Kylie Graham with 1 More Mellow. 5 Hugh Miles with Raise Your Garter. 6 Tom Williamson with See Me Metallic. 7 Andrew Turvey with Cat and Roses. 8 Robert Leach with Butterfly. 9 David Thorne, A Little Turbulence. And 10 Mark Buttsworth with Electric Duck.